That was awkward.
Yes, it was.
Boy, howdy, do we've got a shit sandwich to digest today. Now, I'm going to talk very briefly and give thoughts on this situation. So, everybody yesterday was hyped up about the big Trent Baalke press conference. He was giving his end of the year press conference or postseason press conference, whatever you want to call it. And there were even rumors going around that he was possibly stepping down or retiring. But, spoiler alert, that didn't happen. He's still the GM, and I figured this probably wasn't going to happen. Like, Baalke's not going to get the fuck out unless Shad Khan fires him, which this dumbass clearly does not have the balls to do. But now, his press conference, like, I didn't watch the whole thing, but from takes that people took away from it, it pretty much went how I expected it would. Like, if people asked him any hard questions, if people asked, like, you know, what the Jaguars' future plans were, it was basically telling fans what they wanted to hear, that deflecting blame onto like coaching staff, basically say there's no drama between him and Doug Peterson, which may be true, and pretty much stuff like that to try to alleviate any sort of criticism, which he didn't do too good of a job of, honestly. But I digress. I might make a whole video with Trent Baalke and his whole tenure with the Jaguars this weekend, because I feel like maybe it needs to be talked about. So if I have the time this weekend, I might sit down and do a whole montage video about that. But I want to talk about one specific thing today. Now, first of all, with Trent Baalke, I'll say this. I would like to see him get fired, but I'm not as critical on him as most people are. Like, I think people do kind of fixate on what happened in San Francisco and the first year he was here, the 2021 season, which was one of the most frustrating seasons to be a Jaguars fan. But I also do recognize there is some good he's done, and we've had a lot worse. He may not, like, I don't think he's as brain dead as Gene Smith was. I don't think he's as big of a pussy and just outright terrible at their job as Dave Caldwell was. But that being said, there's still a lot of glaring issues. And we're going to talk about one of those today. Now, take this with a grain of salt, because no official media outlet has reported this. It's just like some Jaguar beat writers, like I think where I saw it first was Jaguars.com or Jags Wire, not the actual Jaguars website. It's a little Facebook blog thing. And them and a couple other people reported that one of the things Trent Baalke said was he didn't really address who he's planning to keep in free agents too much. But one of the things he did outright say is Josh Allen will be a Jaguar. Now, obviously, people were happy about this, but I kind of took it with a grain of salt. And part of this I blame on the media, too, because from what I understand, no one really asked him, like, after he made that statement, how do you know this? Like, what is your plan of attack here? Because allegedly, negotiations haven't started, which, honestly, I think the Jaguars kind of dropped the ball with this situation, because they probably could have paid him last offseason and it would have cost them less, but now he had a career year with 17.5 sacks, and it's obviously going to cost more, which Josh Allen's totally worth. I'm not disputing that. Especially now, considering, him and Trayvon Walker are literally the only pass rush on this team to speak of. So, you obviously got to pay him. I mean, even before renegotiating, like, either cutting cap casualties, like there's a few obvious ones that, you could do. Even before then, the Jags have enough salary cap to make this happen. So, I don't think that's the issue here. The issue here is by you say, and now take again, this may not be true. We haven't heard from Josh Allen himself. We haven't heard him come out and say that this pissed him off, but I could understand why he would be upset if this is the thing. Now, mind you, this is also the same outlet that reported that Baalke might be walking away or retiring. So, obviously, since that didn't happen, take that for what you will. And these kinds of things happen all the time. Like, take for it, so even if it does get to, like, national media, like, don't think it's entirely hopeless because, like, take, for instance, they'll take situations that are, like, that they will build up as completely unsalvageable, like the Jonathan Taylor holdout. We all thought that, Jonathan Taylor was as good as gone from Indianapolis, but only for him to sign a 3-year deal. And I think he returned, week 4, week 5, something like that. So, take that for what you will, but by him saying that, it's like, it got reported that people in his camp are kind of pissed off about that statement, which, if this is true, I can understand why, because, okay, if negotiations haven't started yet, and you're saying he's definitely going to be back, and he's the only free agent you've really mentioned as going to come back, that's pretty much saying in no uncertain terms that you plan on using the franchise tag on him. Now, the problem with this is, I figure there is a good possibility that could happen to keep Josh Allen in-house and to negotiate a deal, which is fine, but the problem is, you came out so fucking smug about this and saying, he's not going. That's not what a fucking player necessarily wants to hear. Now, granted, why I think this could be bullshit about his camp being pissed off about it is because Josh Allen didn't attempt to hold out last year, which he very well could have. He played the season and, was good to everybody and acted like he wanted to be here. He's said multiple times that he plans on, playing here long-term past his contract, which he absolutely should. There should be no reason why no one wants Josh Allen here because, Josh Allen can thrive in any kind of defense besides what Ryan Nielsen brings or what Mike Caldwell brings, whatever. There's obviously going to be a place in the defense for Josh Allen. So, but you coming out saying this like you're so sure of yourself, that's almost implying that you're going to use the franchise tag. And, which would have been fine, but, to outright say that, like, I can kind of see why Josh Allen would be pissed off about that and may sway him in a different direction. But ultimately, it might have pissed him off, but ultimately what I think does happen is, he might use the franchise tag on him, and I don't think Josh is the type of guy where he'll just, hold out or demand a trade or any shit like that. I don't think, but granted, I could be wrong. I didn't think that about Yannick Ngakoue, but look how that ended up. But, hopefully that's not the case. I do think this is something that will be smoothed over. I think, Josh Allen, whether he does receive the franchise tag, it could be like an Evan Ingram situation where, like, he gets the franchise tag and then, like, a little while later he gets a new deal. Like, I don't think he leaves under any circumstances, but I just thought that, like, if the rumor is true that you may have pissed off one of our best player on defense, it was absolutely stupid to come out and say it like that. But, Baalke's always been an arrogant asshole. And the one good thing that could come of this if Josh Allen does leave is, if that happens, this honestly should be grounds for him getting fired. Because you piss off the star player, one of the most marketable players on the team, that should be grounds for you getting fired. But, again, I don't trust Shad Khan to do that because, he's a fucking idiot. But, I don't know. We'll continue to monitor the situation. Maybe I'll do this Trent Baalke video tomorrow to go through his whole tenure and what he may need to do to get the public back on his side. Because I really think that this brain-dead, delusional fuck thinks that people view him in high regard because I guess Shad Khan sucks his dick. But I really don't think he realizes that the majority of Jaguars fans, probably not all of them, but like a good percentage of them fucking hate him and want him to be fired. I mean, the clown the clown thing a couple years ago for the Jag season finale, that should have been the ultimate indicator that, like, maybe some people don't like you and you need to do some things to get back in their good graces. But I don't know whether he'll realize that, remains to be seen. But I guess we'll find out in the coming weeks. But that's it, guys. I'm going.